Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Okay, should we go? Yeah. Yes. Go. Okay, go. Okay. So that's what I mean. This session is supposed to be promoting and selling your books. And I would love to know first why you are here. So I know why I'm here. I'm here because after I decided today in the morning to open up my walk-in closet and have the best suit I ever have, I did not realize that that was all days this long just to celebrate this. I'm in front of you here, guys. So I hope you have the same celebration with me as well. But the question is, like, why are you here? You just have samples, like, why are you here for this issue?
I'm here because my books can always sell better, and I'm looking for more ways to make that happen.
Okay. One more, please.
I'm here because I can probably promote this book better than I can promote.
And this is actually part of what I explained. Like as I told you, I'm running a training center and systems in Calgary, and for the last 7 years, I stopped using PowerPoint. I only believe in the flip chart and the interaction. However, we have to use PowerPoint. So I will switch between my PowerPoint and what's had as a workbook. And I delivered the same workshop, which I call it workshop, over 3 hours in the iPad. One time, and everybody said this is a different perception, that when they apply this principle, they achieve different results. So, okay. So I do have a little bit of a workbook. So I was hoping the one is used. So the question is, what I would like to start with is, if I do have $1 million for a 1-month job, and if I promise you I will pay you $1 million for a job at the end of the month, and or the other alternative is you get 1 cent every day for a month. However, the cent will double on a daily basis. So the first day will be 1 cent, second day will double and keep going. Which one of these two offers you will take? You will take the $1 million or the cent?
Just for a month, or is it?
Just for a month. So who will pick up the 1 cent? And the rest is the $1 million, right? So why did you pick up the 1 cent? Is it because it's an awkward question to ask? Or it doesn't make sense, or because something else? Yeah. So if I look at the 1 cent and whoever selects the $1 million, I want you to understand this. If I start on day 1 with 1 cent, day 2 it will be 2, day 3 it will be 3, it will be 4. It will keep going, and on day 10 I can buy a venti in Starbucks. I'm not going to measure for Starbucks for $5.12. After 20 days, I will make $5,242, which exact or almost exact same amount of cash you will get if you have a $100,000 job a year. After all our good government will take from us as CVP, employment insurance, or have you. If you are in the US, it doesn't matter too, okay? US has their own deduction, which is much higher maybe than Canadian. But you will make about $5,400, okay? So working 20 days in a regular environment, it doesn't make a big difference than getting a cent every day after 20 days. The interesting part will be is, on day 28, you will be able to have $1.3 million. How many months do we have has 28 days? All of them. Okay? So you laugh twice. So you have to always remember, a small token, like 1 cent, Canadians stop to have 1 cent as a coin. If it can keep replicating and going one after the other, what will happen? It will double over, and at certain point, it can reach after day 31, 10 million. So this example, I see it in different contexts, but what I want you to make sure to understand, how many of you here have a Twitter account? And how many of you will ask to tweet? You will tweet and you ask your follower to double or to repeat or to share your tweet. How many of us will come and say, here is my tweet, please share it? Or use RT as a beginning. So if I have a small tweet and say, when World Collides is an awesome event, and I ask to share it, and everybody will receive it from me, will double it, what will happen? And if each one of you will ask their followers to share it, what will happen? How many of us have more than 2 followers on Twitter? Okay? So, the power of cycling is one of the concepts which I learned in my life. I'm talking today about how to promote your books, and just to give you a little bit because I know I'm a new face here. That's me. I've been a professor and I've been teaching so long, like 28 years, and then I have my own business as well. And I was actually on a cover of a newspaper, So I was on a cover of a newspaper which came in the Star.com, which is the Star newspaper in Toronto. And this is me. And what they say about me is that Egyptian scientist. I'm Canadian Egyptian, so I'm not a bestseller, unfortunately. However, I have a religion-related books here, which I was giving to a not-for-profit, and they created today more than 17 million copies of it. They do 1 million a year because they donate them to people coming to them for a specific reason. So I didn't make money, okay? But I'm not a bestseller as well, but I know how to sell and how to market and how to position books. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can see me in all of these cover magazines. So I know what I talk about. So the question is, why we cannot make money out of books? And this is where I need exactly the word, okay? So why you need to sell more books?
Why? Because I need to sell more books because I want to increase my readership. I want to increase my profile, and I want to make some money at it.
Okay. So you can sell books to increase your profile, and you can sell books to make your money. What else people will need to do to sell books? Or what are the reasons for people? Is there anybody else here who has a different reason to sell books?
So my book is for human resources people, so my book is intended to be a teaching resource for human resources people. So I like to help them learn new things.
Learn new things. Okay? Is there anybody else has a reason for selling books? I'm not crazy, guys. I'm asking. I will show you why I'm asking this question. So yes, ma'am.
I do events and stuff, like I write about chocolates, so I do chocolate tasting events, chocolate dinners, chocolate tours, whatever. So the books always open doors to other opportunities.
Good. Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it would be nice to be able to do it full time and have that as my job eventually.
It would be nice to have this as my job. It's great. You know what? This is my full-time job too. For 3 years now at home. So it'd be nice to be my job. Yes, ma'am.
I like to share Western heritage. I want to promote my writing.
Okay. So each one of us has a reason to write books and distribute books. So when can I do this board? Will you able to see this board if I write on something? When I understand human behavior, I understand 4 reasons for people to do what they do. There are people who are doing it for relationship, which is basically creating a better relationship with their audience, with their readers, with their followers, like exactly what human resources. And then there are people who look to develop timely, effective, or timely convenient messages, like magazines. Each one of these classes will not use the same message. And I will get toward maybe the end a little bit about how you can do the messages. This whole 45 minutes is recorded, so I will give you also an access to the recording. And wherever you go for the access on Win Your Brand website, which is the organization I came from, you will have also another free version of this workshop. And in the book, you see specific link. If you send you information through this link, we will give you all this information at no cost. We don't care. We care, but this is not the way we make it. Okay? So, if you would like to understand how you want to make money out of books, I developed a 12 streams of income concept, which has 23 streams of income to make money out of books. And the summary of it is inside this chart. So if you would like to be full-time just writing books, unfortunately you can't. Because what are the revenues on each book? How much do you sell your book for? I have books which is from $7, which I give it for free, all the way till $230. However, some of my technical books during the university time are being sold on eBay for more than $600. I did not make the money, okay? Whoever has a book makes money. So in this particular chart, we demonstrate, and there are a couple of individuals inside this room who are really part of this program. And what we do is, you have your books, and you have your e-books. You have your audiobooks. That's right. These are the three traditional ways we are being told to sell books. That's right. However, for an HR expert, if she will do a seminar, or she will be standing on the stage, what you will do?
I will expose more people to my book and they'll buy it, which I do.
No, I will give each one a free copy of my book, and I will charge the organizer the $50 or the $20 for the book.
I've done that too.
You know, this is awesome. I love it. So the other part is you can actually have a program. So we at Win Your Brand, we develop programs for people to go to sell based on that expertise. And the program is a completely different concept. I appreciate the creativity. I appreciate people writing novels. However, right now, I'm not sure how many of these are actually still people reading. Okay? The statistics demonstrate last year that an average American from 18, I believe, till 55 years old will read 12 books a year. So we look at what about 65 to 75? What's the average reading there? It was only 13 books. One book more, okay? And then you can have other material or other programs where you can promote and sell your book. The difficult scenarios I always, when I present this concept in front of authors and writers, they say, we don't want to be seen on camera. How many of you here doesn't like to be videographed or seen on camera? If you don't want to share it, it's okay. Many of the creators don't like to be public figures. They have struggles when people they do know them, especially if you write fictions. I have a customer in New Zealand, and he's one of the top fiction writers from New Zealand. He runs actually an organization of fiction writers, and they do like very interesting fiction writers. So one of the suggestions I gave it to him, I said, what about if you go out and just every week on YouTube, you just read one chapter and build followers? And these followers, what they will do? They will buy your book. The other question I have is, how many of you here have products for their books? So what kind of products do you have for your books?
So I have a series of books about scouts in the zombie apocalypse, and I've created scout badges for it that I sell.
And what else can you create?
Lots of things. Pins, I can do scout manuals, I can do clothing.
We can do mugs, we can do backpacks, we can do all kinds of stuff. So The question to you back, why you don't have this on your plan?
Instead, you have, I just haven't done those things yet.
Okay, so there are ways to do these things without investing lots of money up front, because there are lots of projects right now, lots of websites, lots of platforms, what they will sell. They will sell on demand. We run virtual stores, but we own nothing. We have no inventory. And anybody comes to our store will buy, what will happen? Amazon will print. Everybody will come to our store, what will happen? The company, which is Alibaba or whatever, will produce, will tag, will package, will send, collect the money, and only what they pay me 40% royalty. I'm doing nothing. That's right? So one of the concepts which we drive is, can you have a program? Can you go inside each one of these tiles and write down 1 or 2 ideas and say, I want to do this idea in the next 3 to 6 months. Okay? Make sense? Does this make your expectation? So, let's turn back to the workbook, and I always believe in a workbook, and the workbook is personalized, so if you guys would like if you would like to write on page 2, if you would like to write on page 2 just your name, and because you will walk away with this workbook, I will not take it back from you. And by the way, before I proceed, there is also a free app. You can download it on your phone, and if you go to your Google Play or Apple Store or Apple App Store, you will see my other mobile apps for my phone. But you can download when you're ready. I'm more than happy to show you like how much it will cost you to develop an app for your book. It's a fraction of $100.
So can you repeat that? So you're saying that you can create an app for your book? For
Each one of my books I have an app.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So if you go and download Win Your Brand, you will see like 7 apps, and if you are in the Google Play, you will see an app also for me, which is crazy. You will see like some apps for my books, my coming book and my current books. Okay? And I will share with you in this booklet why you must, not should, why you must have all of this entry if you want to run a program. Okay? So, the biggest question we always ask is, how much money in the books? In book selling. So if I do the math and I look at how much is your book usually? $16.50. So if the book is $16.50, how much will it cost you to produce it?
Depends on the quantity, but say $6.
Okay, so if I go to Amazon, I will create this at $3. Maybe $4, including shipping. For a packet of 20. Why do I have to use Amazon? Sorry, why do I must use Amazon? For one reason, because Amazon put my books in 23 international stores. I love having books. Like people will come to me and say, oh, we like this is not a new book. I have no books, guys. I only print them 10 at a time. When I have an event of 100, 200, 300 people, I will print books for them through my good friend Amazon. So I don't make money on books. Maybe you want, but I don't. I make money on my program. So if you have a $16 book, and how much can you live full time? You need a month to live full time? Not with your Porsche and just be normal, okay, like us, okay?
50 to 60,000 a year.
Okay, so you should look for $50,000 to $60,000 a year, which basically around $5,000 a month. So if I make a $10 a year, if just I assume I make a $10, how many books do I have to sell? 500. How many days in a month? 30. Can I make them 600 to make the math simple?
Yeah.
Okay, which will make 20 copies per day, and the day has 24 hours, so almost you want to sell 1 copy per day per hour. Can you sell 1 copy per hour? Lifetime? Not for 1, 2, 3, 4 years. No. Okay? No, we can't. And by the way, we cannot live on $5,000 because the suits we have are more than $5,000. Okay? Right. So when you look at this kind of, let's not just because of I love what I used to be an international scout. I have to tell you, so I love scouts and I love having people have missions and the passion for young in particular. If I do look at a token like a bag or like a backpack, the backpack I can sell it easily at $25 to $50. How much will it cost me to have it with all the kind of designs? Unfortunately, from Amazon, it will be another $5. There's another $5 to make on Amazon, which make on a bag I will make $20, which twice what you make on a book. The question for people who love to write books, can I have the bag without the book? No. You need the bag, the book, because the book will give you the license to what? To make merchandise. The franchise of Star Wars is multi-billion-dollar because of, not the movies, by the way. It's just all what they sell after the movie. Okay? So why we are, I know we are little, we consider ourselves little authors or little people, you know, we don't want to, no, I understand, but we have the tools. So this is one of the tools, which I hope you can take notes of it, and I'll give you my card, you have my contact. If you want to exercise this, let me know and let us know the result, because at the end of the day, all of these are ideas. You can transform your life if you apply them. Otherwise, I'll be like Disney, I'll be like a fantasy. I'm not a fantasy guy. So what we should say in my rules is there is no money in selling books, and all the money is in the activities around the book. And writing and the producing. So this is basically the rule. Do you agree on this rule? Do you agree on this rule? How many here agree that they need to do something aside of or beside publishing books? Okay? So I will leave you to fill number 3 on your own. And I want to go to page number 4. And believe me, if you access the online tool, you will find the iPad workshop. I went all details of everything section. And that's, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I was going to ask, I came late, do you have another? I can use my food. Okay, we're extras.
These are more. So the question number 5 on page 4, who are the buyers of my book? Who buys your book? Right?
Youth and their parents. Kids and their parents.
Do you want to take this gentleman as a volunteer example so we can work out his case? Who's buying the books?
Scouts primarily, but I have other boys.
How many here agree that the Scouts buying his books? How old is the Scouts?
Well, the books for...
How old is the Scouts, sir?
About 14, 15.
How many of you here agree that 14, 15 years old will buy his books?
No.
That shakes their head, man. If any hard feelings, I'm going to stop here. I want to make it enjoyable.
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Okay. So, the question is, who is buying my books? So, I developed in my life a model, which the model is very simple, and you will see it under. Just this model will help you a little bit to answer the first question. So, people who buy the book, what the main characteristics of anybody buying? What the only things they do? They give us money. That's right. So these are the people who buy the books. And the G stands for general. So from you guys as general here to whoever will come and buy my book, I have all of these stages of communication which I will explain, and I will share with you how you can talk to people and which language you have to use. But first we want to solve or understand one issue. Who is buying the book? So I will move to this nice lady in the back. in an HR environment, who's buying your book?
HR managers for the team.
You see? So whoever buying her book is HR manager. Who's the user of your book?
The HR generalist.
Which is the client. So do you have a message inside your book, inside your marketing material, inside your website, inside your author platform, inside your book platform, inside your YouTube channel, inside your podcast, to say to the customer, which is different than the client? Do you have it or not? If you don't have it, we will develop it along the way. Okay? So why, and I can pick up, because HR is very specific, I can pick up the scouts as a good example, because the scouts, like, if you're a parent or you have young brothers or sisters or young siblings, you can follow up. So you can follow on this example. So if I am a parent and I want to buy for my scout, what information I need to know about this book?
Well, I guess that is an adventure where scouts are saving the world from zombies.
This is what the kids would like to know. But me as a parent, what should I know about this book or this series?
Okay, it's I guess age range.
I want to know, sir, it's educational. It doesn't have a slang or other language inappropriate to my house. The kids, when they play with it or they read it or they take it, what they will get out of it. I need to know it's certified or not. I need to know it will promote. I'm here committed not to say bad language, so it will not promote like violence or any kind of exploitation to the kids. I need to know that the images are safe, that the ink is safe. Do I need to know about the content as a parent? Not necessary. Not necessary. Do you read all of your kids' books? If you are not the reading parent at night.
No.
Okay? So when I model my engagement with my audience, no matter who they are, when I model it in this way, I will be able, and there will be some questioning, some comments, very simple comments I will share with you here. So when you walk out from here, you have a better idea. There is a difference between whoever paying me money to whoever is actually reading or experiencing my book. So if I move to here, to the other side, do you publish yourself or you have a publisher? Is anybody here have a little publisher or some publisher who is publishing their books? So if you have a publisher, who is paying you the money? Is the customer, is the reader paying you the money or the publisher?
I get my money from the publisher.
From the publisher. So if you get your money from the publisher, who is here the customer who pay me money?
Publisher.
The publisher. That's right? And who's reading? Who's the client? Who is the seed? Is the reader. So what kind of material I need to get to the publisher? They teach us all the time. The book proposal, how they make money out of it, who will be reading it, that's right? This is all the information. So if you understand what kind of interest each one of this level, and you can speak this language, and then we can talk about the authorship page on Amazon and how you can do this and how you, if you understand just, there is a different set of language you have to use from this level to the end. And please note, this is my own model. You are not allowed to take it. What you are allowed to do is understand this model a little bit and model yourself for your own business, for your own books, how this will be staged. Because, for example, if I will be able to sell the book to the Scouts Canada, sorry, Scouts is my house, so I have to use it again. If I want to sell the books for Scouts Canada, or the Association of HR, there are 3 or 4 associations, what kind of material I have to tell them is different than the book. Make sense? Okay? So, the question here is, what are these stages? So I will go through 1 or 2 and then we can do the exercise and then you can go on your own and complete the whole list, okay? So, if I talk about A stands for audience. So if you can go in and answer question 5.2, who's your audience? Who are your audience? Thank you very much. Thank you. So who's your audience? And how can you target them?
Write stories that are interesting.
Okay? So the question comes back to you, who are your customers? So your customers are the kids or the parents? And how you can reach the parents?
Like you said, you have to tell them that it doesn't have profanity, there's no sex. That is a safe book for their kids to read. It's not going to make them have nightmares.
And where can we share this information?
Where can we share? During promotional material in the back where.
And where you can put it. So if you go to like LinkedIn, Facebook, any of the social media, and you have this information, what you will do, you will drive your people here through the messages you want to drive here. Okay? Make sense? Anybody object for that? Okay. So if I want to share with you some numbers, which unfortunately I cannot write here, but if I want to share, if I want to get one customer here, I may need from prospects 10. I may need from lead another multiple of 10. Another multiple of 10. So if I find out that every time I stand in front of 10 people I will sell one book, it means that I need to have crowd here in the 100,000 or the 10,000. And I can share with you how you can get, by page I believe 12 of the workbook, there are some suggestions where this can be. Okay? So what you need to make sure first to understand, this is structure and what are the characteristics of each of these structures and how you can reach them. Okay? Make sense? So do you want me to go through the whole thing? So if I come from the back, this C stands for retired. These people who used my product, they read my book and they don't read it anymore. These are the referrals. These are the people which I give them the bookmark, or I will send them an email, or I send them a Twitter, or I send them a card telling them what? Please send this promotional item to your friends. And this is the class of people who will be upsold. So these are the return customers who will come to be upsold. They can come to be upsold by what? By a new book, a new or merchandise, or join for $10, $20, or whatever my video channel, where I can keep the engagement and promote more books. These are the customers who pay me money. These are the clients who experienced my product without necessarily paying me money. And we have here a publisher example, we have a scout example, and we have HR example. And these are the prospects. The prospects are individuals or organizations where we have a two-way communication. So if I come and say, would you like to buy this workbook, and say, what's in it, I'm interested, I'm not interested, can you show me? This kind of conversation, this is what will create this level of prospects. So when I go to attend seminars or workshops, or I deliver messages, I'm actually prospecting people to use my books and my products. The L stands for lead, and the lead are the individuals who will give you a business card or will give you information. So to show you how this works, I do have here, if you would like to get extra material, you can just basically fill these forms. I'm not sure how, okay, no. And I will be able to get back to you and send you any supplement material I have, including this, so you can fill and put your name. So the minute you put your email here and just pass it over, write your email down and pass it over, this will create you as as a lead. Because now I have your information. I know you are what? Interested. Do I have conversation with you? Not yet. And I'm not here to sell you anything. That's why I will not pressure any sales for my friend. The 80 are the targeted audience or audience who are interested, and the A stands for audience, and G stands for general. Standard marketing people will tell you, yeah, this is the girl stand on Instagram. No, it doesn't work like that. If you work it out from here to here, you will come up with some characteristics of the general, which will let you know. Like, for example, if you talk about Alberta or you talk about Canadian heritage, where are the general crowd who are interested in Canadian heritage? We assume they are in Canada. However, the one who are interested, the one who are interested in Canadian heritage are people not in Canada. Okay, like I grew up in Egypt, and we are sick of the term. Okay, the minute I went to teach my PhD in the U.S. and I start to go around and talk about the Egyptian heritage, I found people are very interested. And it gave me lots of satisfaction as I can talk about my country and the history which I did studying when I was in the country. So when you work it out from here, backward in this way, you will find out that the assumption we have might not hold true. Make sense? Can I move on or have any questions? So just to close it down, people interested in the Canadian heritage are not in Canada. They are tourists who come to Canada. They are people in different diplomatic areas. They are intelligent officers as well around the world. Like, they are looking for this information to understand our culture, to sell us more. And there are also big organizations who want to produce for us special products. So they would like to adapt the product to this particular area of the world which is called Canada, right? I'm right? So, if you can, under each one of these, write down what are the characteristics of this particular stage and how you can target them. The question is, how can I target people? 2012-2014, we had this new gadget, which is a problem of it. It became what? It became a mainstream in our life. This gadget opened up to us all kinds of this virtual, we call it virtual space or virtual reality. We call it the virtual, that's right. Now it become reality. Now this social media and all kinds of information there are reality in our life. How many of you here don't sneak a peek at least once a day to their Facebook? Sorry, how many of you do not have a Facebook account? Don't have? How many don't have Twitter? So you don't have Twitter, okay? How many don't? How many social media? How many here have a platform or some kind of social media presence within 5 platforms? Within 10, 20, 30. So my new book coming called 12 Streams of Income, it does exist on 152 social media platforms. And there are ways to make them. You can send an email from here. Everything will be shaped. So it's insane over there. I'm not suggesting you do that, but what I'm saying is you can actually participate and get this information. In the same place where you can access the video recording, you will have free tools where you can actually go and use it. It's not different. To connect, even if you have a Facebook and Twitter account, they will tell you how to connect them to each other. So when you create a Twitter, the Facebook will know. When you create a Facebook, the Twitter will know. These stuff are not sophisticated enough to make money on it. Okay? There are more stuff which can make money than just getting people to run electronics. Okay? Electronics is very simple. You can see it. You can go to YouTube and see how I can connect my social media and find thousands of videos explained in a very short way. If you cannot afford the time and you have a little money, you want to hire somebody, you can hire somebody if you like. But the point I want to say is, if I know how I can reach these targets and where can I reach them, One of them is the online platform. So, question number 6, which we don't have time to it. Yeah, question number 6 is a key question. Ask about how many of you have here a book platform and an author platform independent?
Can you repeat that?
Sorry?
Book platform and what?
Author platform.
Yeah,
So do you have a book platform
yeah,
and you have an author platform?
yeah.
How many of you here have the similar?
Well, yeah, I guess I will.
So what does a platform mean? Can you share with us what's your platform?
I have a website, really.
It's not really. The website is a platform. It's one part of the platform. Okay? So why do you need to have a book platform and an author platform?
People come at you from different directions, so tie them together.
Why do you have the author platform and the book platform?
Well, in my case, because I write about chocolate lovers aren't necessarily that interested in the writing life of a writer, so they wouldn't necessarily want to see the author's platform, but they want to see the book platform about the chocolate, and vice versa. You'd have writing people that want to see the author's platform, but they may not care about the chocolate.
Okay? So if I want to invite her to be a speaker here, where I will go? The author platform. And the part of the author platform is to have the Amazon authorship platform connected to it. You have your own Twitter, you have your own Instagram, you have your own video channel, you have your own podcast. So I will, if I go to, okay, so much, don't have time to share with you what you want to share. If you go to page 14, you will find out collections of steps for an author platform. Okay? And by the way, if you go through the book, you will find lots of interesting self-read, and you are book writers, so you can read, right? So you'll find, like on page 9, how you can identify your audience and what are the targets, which is, as I said, if you are willing to do this workbook and connect with me, I will connect with you virtual or in person if you are in Calgary, and I'm more than happy to share with you everything I know at no cost, just to make sure you got these steps. Right. So these are examples of an author platform. So author platform is a website or a blog. We always get the question is, should I use WordPress.com or I use Blogspot? I will come to you and say, how much do you charge for your talk? $5,000? $500? $1,000? You cannot afford $15 a year to have your first name and last name.com website. If you cannot afford that, you have a problem. Because I will not pay you $50 an hour if you don't have a $50 website developers, right? If you have a Gmail, how many of you here have a Gmail account? Please go change it and use a proper email, okay?
Well, I have a proper email.
Okay, that's okay, so that's okay. You got me this time. So, one of the common things we understand is we have the website. Now, how we can get activity on the website? By having blogs. I do have he's now a customer, he started to be a friend, and what he was doing when we were at the university, he was basically collecting people ideas. This is before Facebook time. And when we had all of these ideas, he often go every 2-3 years and just produce some kind of books about people ideas in this particular area, or this particular topic. So then, you can link your books, you can build your mailing list, you can welcome your subscriber, and you should also claim what we call it author profile in any place like Amazon, like any other places where they have author profiles based on where you publisher, or the way you publish, because there are like 3 different ways to publish like Amazon. You should claim what? Your author profile. When you claim it, what you do with it? You connect it back to your website. You have a link there. That's for people who don't understand technology at all. If you know your website will be www.something.something, that's right. You make sure this line, it does exist on every Twitter account you have, on every Facebook account you have, on every social media. shape platform you have. There are lots of rumors around the community here will come and say, oh, you don't need a website, you can do stuff on Facebook pages. Guess what? If Facebook closed down, you will start from scratch. What's the likelihood of Facebook to close down? Very likely if Mr. Trudeau will not maintain a good relation with the Americans. Okay? As a fragile you trust the politics, you have to look at it from this perspective. And we always try to bring this example not to expose any political view, but to make sure you laugh at it means you what? You will remember it tomorrow, right? So, you should also claim your social media profile. So there is a website called Check Name. Sorry, name check chk.com. When you go to this website, you will find all possible social media available, and you'll find the search. You can search your name. It will show you where your name is available everywhere. Please go and claim your name. You don't need to activate the profile, but you need to protect what? If you have a new book, what you should do? Go on the title and search on this name. You should also consider creating video blogs for individuals who don't like to be seen on video. Because for me, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I didn't want to be seen on video. Right now, I love to be at the front of the camera and I love to talk. It's something you do like not by aging, but by doing different practices. So if you don't like to have a video blog and seen online, it's okay. Create a PowerPoint slides and speak behind them. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. The baseline is you need what? A video blog. Videos is considered by Google, after their own YouTube, as the most authentic way for getting information. Because you can speak your own ideas. And nobody can have your vocals. So this is one of the trusted sources. You can also consider what we call it, create your author mobile application. And I will share with you a platform where for $100 lifetime, you can actually go and drag and drop and produce. I don't have any affiliation with them. They are overseas, but they're so cool. Because you can, within 1 hour, you can have a mobile app. Not with 12 functionality, but maybe with 4 or 6, doesn't matter. The minute they submit your mobile application to iOS and Google Play, what line I must have in the description? Link to your website address. Okay? So
Where did you go to get that?
if you email me, I will send you the link.
Oh.
And there is no affiliation. I'm not I have a good friend of mine here in the back, and he'll tell you I don't believe in just skimming people's through because.
Don't trust him.
Oh, thank you. So the second part, which I would like to stress in the last maybe like 10 minutes, like less than 10, I believe we are after our time now because we have to finish it. The other thing is, when I publish my books, I don't wait to finish the book first. I resell my book. How many of you here will resell? So the minute I have an idea of a book, what I do is few steps. Step number 1, I will plug the title inside Google search, the full title. So when I create my book, Sales and the Closing Deal, it was the only book named Sales and the Closing Deal. I put the title inside Google. I went immediately and I bought for it a URL, a website address. I did not activate the website address. I went and I secured it in all social media. And suddenly I create the content for the website, inviting people to come to do what? To buy my book. Do I have a book? No. But when I make $50,000, I will get the top-notch ghostwriter to do what?
Oh boy.
To write my book. I'm not telling you to do this. So, if you come to our booth, Win Your Brand in the Merchant's Corner, I will show you a few of these marketing material. And if you go to different conferences and you run social groups and workshops and stuff like that, you will always find somebody in the audience interested in what? What's coming next? The second tip I share with you also is, if you go to this online app store and you download Win Your Brand app, you will see the app for 12 streams of income, which is books still. It will be published next year. It's not ready yet. I did not write more than 60% of it. But you will find for it an app. Consider pre-selling. Consider claiming the profile, creating the book. By the last page, you will have a whole list of different things you can do. I'm saying it like it's only 51 minutes. I don't want to take away from the next speaker. I enjoy the presentation here. If you have any questions, I can answer it here, or you come anytime in the mention corner. You have my contact. If you go here, you have my contact as well. Actually, you have my email on the front page as well. As I said, when I started, somebody took my hand and showed me, and I'm more than happy to share everything I know, till a point where I deserve to be paid, I will ask to be paid, but I'm not doing this. Okay? Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the next speaker. Last time I checked you out, you were doing it. Yeah, so
Yeah, well, because we have a meeting at 9. So that's fine. I'll go to bed. But I guess, are we meeting in the lobby?
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.